You turn your cameras on again. Same old script, same old pretend. Another night, another blame, another thumbnail with my name. You say you're done, then here we go, round and round the same old show. If silence came, what would you be without your obsession with me? You think I'm listening, hanging on every word, but while you're talking, I'm living every dream you've never heard. You don't get my story, you don't get my song, you don't get to ride where my heart belongs. You wanted the world to see me through your eyes, but truth keeps rising no matter how you try. I'm building a life, you're building another rumor. I'm counting my blessings, you're counting my viewers. God keeps opening doors no one can close, while you keep chasing shadows. I keep growing. 7 years and nothing's changed. Different title, same old game. Every road you choose to take still circles back to my name. You say you know me, but you never knew my heart. You only know the picture you kept pulling apart. I stopped carrying the weight you tried to give. You chose to stay angry. I chose to live. You don't get my story, you don't get my story, you don't get my song, you don't get to decide where I belong. You wanted my family broken, my voice erased, but love is stronger than bitterness and hate. I'm building tomorrow, we're reliving yesterday. Every time you speak my name, you only prove my strength. I won't become what you became. I won't spend my life looking through somebody else's window. I've got children laughing, I've got dreams waiting. I've got a son whose light still shines inside my heart. I've got work to do, people to love, home to build. That's where you'll never find me living in hate. You don't get my story, you don't get my end. Every stone you threw became another step I'm standing on. Every lie you whispered couldn't drown the truth. Every door you tried to close, not open, so keep saying my name. If that's all you got left, I keep building love, I'll keep building faith, I'll keep building a life that speaks louder than the noise. And one day, when the noise finally fades, I still have my family, I still have my purpose, I still have my song, because my story is never yours to tell. Storm clouds where the light should be. Every road felt cracked and warm. Every sunrise battle torn. But 1,000 voices in the dark lit a tiny little spark when I thought shine like a million sparks combined. When the road was way too steep, you lifted me to my feet. Now the whole world hears our sound. We're still standing in the fire, voices rising higher and higher. Through the ashes, through the pain, we keep dancing in the rain. They try to knock us off our feet, but the sun will never retreat. Every random, every soul, you're the reason I'm still whole. We're still standing, still fighting, still lighting up the night. I've seen the darkest night, but you were the light. 1,000 hearts beating strong when the world turned cold. You held me hold on when the road felt too long. This isn't just a voice online. This is family standing side by side. We're still standing in the fire, voices rising higher and higher. Through the ashes, through the chaos, we keep dancing in the rain. Every star became a spark, lighting up the darkest dark. Every round was standing tall. Together we survived it all. Oh, we are still starting, we're rising, we're burning bright to Zion. Through the storm, through the fire, through the shining like a light. And I'm still here because of you.
Hello, can you hear me? Let me make sure because I just had almost a mic problem before I started. I had to redo my mic. So I'm remembering to do the mic check. Let me make sure you can hear me.
And I'm still here because of you.
Let's hear if you can hear me. Hello. Okay, good. Can you hear me? All right, that's good. And now with my camera would be good. Come on, camera. There we go. Okay, you can hear. Yeah, I hear it. So, it was humid here tonight. I went for a long swim. I didn't feel the humidity when we took a long swim. I went with Ethan and Luke after they got back from work, and we so first I said, let's go swim all the way down to the beach, and they're like, oh, I don't know. And then we ended up doing it. Yeah, so then back, and what else did we do? Then when I came back, I got changed, and then I went for a walk. Then I felt the humidity. I ran across my neighbors, and I'm like, it's humid. They're like, yeah, it's humid. It was humid. I was all sweaty when I got back from the walk, but now it's okay. Now I have the door open. Now I don't feel humid anymore. I'm just on the walk. It was humid, but the water felt great. It's actually a little bit cool when you get in at first. It's weird because it's usually when it's very hot you don't feel that, but it was nice. Tonight is, see, I don't feel the humidity now, not now. Only when I went on that walk. Only when I went on the walk. Let's see. And Luke, after he got swimming, put on a hoodie. Ethan and I are like, what the heck? I mean, I'm wearing long sleeves. You do get, sometimes you can feel a little cool after you get out of the water, but I don't know. There's a lot to talk about tonight. Okay, guess what? Nancy Grace is going to the Murdaugh trial. Nancy Grace is going to be there. So we'll get to meet Nancy Grace. So that's good. And still don't know where the venue is going to be yet, but I'm going to talk about the death penalty. Hi, B Lady. How are you? How's it going? B Lady, I've been getting this stuff shipped out now. The reason I had to stop with yours is because I had to get my notebook where I put your stuff. I didn't know where it is, but I have everything. I just have to pack up one more thing, so I should probably have that done tomorrow. and then I'll be able to, you sent me your address and everything, right, where it's supposed to be shipped to, so I can figure out shipping and send you a payment request. All right, and however you want to pay me, I take PayPal, Cash App, Zelle, but I just have to but I think you did. Did you send me your address? You did, right? I hope so. Because I want to get that out. I've been doing good. I've been working on custom orders and stuff, and I've got a few more custom orders. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you sent it, I'll do a search for it. No need to trouble yourself to send it. I just want to make sure, because this is I want to catch up now. This is crazy. So what was I going to say? Oh, Deb. Yeah, but I don't see Debbie now. Okay. Anyway, yeah, and Jen, your package is going out tomorrow, and I think those customs orders take some. Well, I try to get them out. I have Denise's all ready to go, except I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, at the end, so I'm always like, oh, I'll give this another coat of varnish or this and that, and then I sign my name, and then I take pictures, and so that I always, because it's something I made, I always take pictures, so I have a catalog of what things I've made. But yeah, I finished White Angel's stuff, and now she wants 2 more. So, and I actually have to get some more blanks that I need. I think I'm just going to order online. All right. So anyway, Murdaugh, because it's a totally new trial, he can face the death penalty. The prosecutors can say they want to have the death penalty. Well, yeah, and sometimes when you're a perfectionist, it gets in your own way, right? Because you're like, oh, it's not good enough, or oh, I can't start this now, I don't have everything. And I'm always telling Jimmy, don't worry about starting something. Like every time we start a project, he wants to have everything. I'm like, let's just get her done, Okay. So anyway, but yeah, but I think, let me see which story I'm gonna do first. Well, the reason I was bringing up Murdaugh, if any of you know Mandy Matney, well, they can. You see, I think they're posturing with this. I wonder if they're trying to scare him, maybe, that he would take a plea deal. I don't think he would take a plea deal. I am the youngest. I am the baby. Can't you tell, B-Lady? I'm the baby. I'm the baby. And they called me baby like the girl in Dirty Dancing until I was like, I don't know, 10 years old. My father would always be like, who has the baby? Do you have the baby? Okay, but no, and my brother, who's the oldest, was entering law school when I was born, B-Lady, and my mother went to a baby store to pick out my pram, and the lady thought my brother was my mom's husband, and she told my mother, because my mother was going, I don't know if I should get this one or that one. And the woman said, well, why don't you ask your husband? My mother's like, who? And she's like, him. And she's like, that's not my husband. That's my son. I come across, I don't come across as a baby to you? Really? Oh, wow. Yeah. I don't know. But look, I told you, I used to be very, very shy. Like a lot of my high school friends cannot believe that I do what I do because they're like, oh my gosh, you're always so shy. But yeah, you change a lot, right? Live and learn. Anyway, so Mandy Matney. If you guys are not familiar with Mandy Matney, Mandy Matney is like kind of like a whistleblower in the South. Have I read any of the birth order books? I don't know that I've read them per se, but I've read excerpts of them. And my daughter is the oldest. And she very much fits all of that stuff. Mandy Matney, I want to get this right. She has had a long history. In fact, someone told me a long time ago that I should contact her because she's harassed online a lot. She took a lot of heat. She said there was something wrong with the Murdaugh family, okay? And really blew the whistle on a lot of stuff. So I'm going to tell you what happened, okay? Because the judge slammed her and said she owes $176,000 for not doing a deposition. So we'll okay, let's talk about this, okay? First, she's an investigative journalist best known for her relentless reporting on the powerful Murdaugh family in South Carolina and the series of crimes that brought down their dynasty. She gained widespread recognition for the following. She had a podcast called the Murdaugh Murders Podcast. She launched that in 2021. And in fact, I just remembered who told me I should have contacted her. It was a lawyer. Believe it or not, it was a lawyer in New York. He was in New York. A nice guy. His wife is a lawyer. He said he listened to this podcast. And he said a lot of the things that I go through sounds like what she's gone through, and you should look her up and see and tell them that he sent me there. So yeah, that's how I found out about it. That's exactly how I found out about her. And this was, yeah. So anyway, she had a real-time investigation to expose decades of their family's corruption, cover-ups, and mysterious deaths. And then after that, she had another podcast called True Sunlight and Cup of Justice. That's where she relaunched her main podcast as True Sunlight and co-host the legal-focused Cup of Justice. So those are two separate ones. True Sunlight, what she rebranded as, and then Cup of Justice with her media company, Luna Shark Media. And then, let's see, she had reporting that led to a book in 2023, Blood on Their Hands, Murder, Corruption, and the Fall of the Murdaugh Dynasty. And it heavily inspired the Hulu miniseries, Murdaugh, Death in the Family. So she has Luna Shark Media and all of that. So she was like rising above really rapidly, but exposing this major corruption. So, got to be careful sometimes when you do that right down there in the South, right? So let's talk about what happened here. So, a South Carolina judge found Mandy Matney in civil contempt and ordered her to pay $171,500, but there's an additional $5,000 fees and costs fine. After concluding that she willfully refused to comply with a subpoena in litigation that was tied to the Murdaugh family. There was a 22-page order filed Monday by Circuit Judge R. Keith Kelly, which concluded that Matney deliberately disregarded a valid subpoena and prior court order requiring her to appear for a deposition, rejecting her claim that safety concerns justified her refusal. The contempt filing stems from the long-running civil litigation arising from the 2019 boat crash that killed Mallory Beach, and that's when Paul Murdaugh was at the wheel of that boat, right? Parker's convenience stores were among the defendants accused of selling alcohol to an underage Paul Murdaugh. He was using Buster's ID before the fatal crash, and Matney was subpoenaed as a non-party witness. Let's see here. The Beaches family civil lawsuit against the members of the Murdaugh and Parkers alleges that the convenience store chain illegally sold alcohol to underage Paul Murdaugh before the crash, and they show you this. There's a surveillance camera of it happening, and then you see Paul buying it, and then you see Paul on the boat dock and just swaying, like just drunk completely. The litigation ultimately helped expose Alex Murdaugh's finances as investigators uncovered the disgraced attorney's financial crimes. Kelly wrote that Matney refused to appear at the Bluffton deposition site on March 27th, despite acknowledging she understood the court had denied her efforts to quash the subpoena and ordered the deposition to proceed. Instead, she remained at another law office in Bluffton while Parker's attorneys waited at the noticed location. The order notes Matney instead appeared by Zoom from another law office in Bluffton. Based upon the foregoing, there is clear and convincing evidence that Ms. Matney's failure to appear was not the result of confusion, mistake, or inability, but rather was a deliberate decision to disregard the subpoena and the court's March 16, 2026 order requiring that she be deposed within 14 days, Kelly said. Kelly also found that Matney's explanation that she feared for her safety was not credible. So here's the decision. Let's just see here. We'll take this up here. Okay, State of South Carolina. The plaintiffs Gregory Parker, Parker's Corporation. That's from that convenience store, okay? So this matter comes before the court. Let's go over here. On April 1st, 2026, after the motion was fully briefed, the court scheduled an evidentiary hearing on April 7th of 2026 and required Ms. Matney to appear in person. The parties were advised to contact the court if they had any concerns or questions regarding the matter of the hearing. At the hearing, sworn testimony was taken from Ms. Matney and attorney Mark Tinsley. After carefully considering the motion, Ms. Matney's response and supplemental response, the record, the arguments of counsel, and the testimony presented, the court granted the Parkers defendant's motion for a rule to show cause and ordered Ms. Matney to appear at a hearing on May 15th, 2026, for her to show cause, if she could, as to why she should not be held in contempt. At the May 15, 2026 hearing, Ms. Matney testified and presented evidence as to why she should not be held in contempt, and at the end of the day, the May 15th hearing was recessed and continued on June 22nd, 2026, with Ms. Matney's cross-examination and the testimony of two witnesses, attorney Eric Bland and Ms. Matney's husband, David Moses. At the end of the hearing, the court took the matter under advisement. Okay, so here's the background procedural history. On October 17, 2025, the Parkers defendant served Ms. Matney with a subpoena Deuces Take 'em, which noticed her for a deposition for October 29, 2025 at a law firm in Bluffton, South Carolina. After Ms. Matney objected on November 5, 2025, the Parker's defendants noticed another deposition at the same location for November 17, 2025. On November 12, 2025, Ms. Matney filed a motion to quash or alternatively for a protective order. Ms. Matney argued that she was shielded by the reporter's privilege codified in South Carolina Code, blah, blah, blah. The deposition was an undue burden under that rule, and her testimony lacked relevance. She did not raise any concerns with the location of the noticed deposition. On November 25, 2025, Ms. Matney filed an affidavit in which she averred that she moved to quash the subpoena because she was not available on the requested date. Her testimony would require her to divulge information protected by the reporter's privilege, and the subpoena imposed an undue burden on her. She explained that she and her husband produce 2 weekly podcasts, and they are executive producers on a Hulu series which required travel, and any interruption would negatively affect her household finances. She also averred that she did not have any relevant information in this case, and the deposition was part of the Parker's defendant's goal to harass and humiliate her. The court held a hearing on November 26 of 2025 and took the motion under advisement. On February 5th of 2026, the court denied Ms. Matney's motion to quash and her alternative motion for a protective order. The court concluded that the reporter's privilege did not provide blanket protection from being deposed. Ms. Matney's testimony was relevant, and she had failed to establish an undue burden. On February 10th of 2026, counsel for the Parker's defendants emailed counsel for Ms. Matney's subpoena for her deposition on March 2nd, 2026, again listing the same location as noticed in the previous subpoena. Hello to Scooter. Nancy Grace is going to be at the trial, so we're going to meet Nancy. On February 17, 2026, Ms. Matney filed a motion to reconsider. Ms. Matney again argued that she was entitled to protection under the report's privilege. The deposition would impose an undue burden, and that she was subject to unusual harassment related to this litigation. Wait a minute, don't get freaked out. We're okay. Related to this litigation, she did not raise any concerns with the location of the notice deposition. On February 18, 2026, counsel for Ms. Matney responded to the February 10th email confirming acceptance of the second subpoena and raised no objection to the location listed in the second subpoena. Counsel indicated she was not available on March 2nd, 2026, or certain other dates in March, but she identified no conflict with the week of March 23rd, 2026. On February 19th, 2026, counsel for the Parker's defendants agreed to change the deposition date to March 23rd, 2026. Accordingly, on February 24th, 2026, counsel for the Parker's defendants served another subpoena on her. Okay, so this goes on and on. Bottom line is, it's March 19th, 2026. Having not heard from Ms. Matney's counsel, the Parker's defendants' counsel contacted Ms. Matney's counsel to confirm March 27th as the date for the deposition, as had previously been agreed. The next day, on March 20th, Ms. Matney's counsel responded by stating that Ms. Matney would not appear at the notice location and would only agreed to be deposed at another location in Bluffton, the office of her lawyer, Meredith Bannon. Ms. Matney claimed through counsel that she felt unsafe at the notice location, a known and well-regarded law firm in Bluffton. March 20th, 2026, less than a week before her deposition was scheduled to occur was the first time Miss Matney, through counsel, objected to the location that had been identified for months. On March 21st, the Parkers' defendants responded and offered to move the deposition to the Maynard Nexon law firm in Columbia, South Carolina, which is located in a building with security, or a hotel conference room in Bluffton. Ms. Matney rejected both of those alternate locations and insisted that she be deposed at Ms. Bannon's law firm. Ms. Matney also insisted that her husband, a non-party, be allowed to attend her deposition. Ms. Matney failed to offer a location suitable to the Parkers' defendants, so the Parkers' defendants insisted that she appear at the place and time noticed in the subpoena. Hi, Slam RN. Yes, this is related to the Murdaugh case. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. This woman, this investigative reporter, Slam, she was exposing the Murdaugh family like crazy. Okay. On March 27th, at the scheduled time, Ms. Matney did not appear at the deposition at the notice location in Bluffton. Instead, she informed the Parkers' defendants via Zoom that she was located at the Bannon law firm in Bluffton and that she would remain alongside her husband, as well as the plaintiff's counsel, who also appeared at the office of the Bannon law firm in Bluffton. Counsel for the Parkers' defendants informed Ms. Matney that they would remain at the notice location until 11 a.m. and that if Ms. Matney did not appear, they would pursue all remedies available. Ms. Matney and her counsel, along with the plaintiff's counsel, elected to remain at the other location and not appear at the notice location. So she was told, okay, you got that? She was told, hey, you have to come here. You've got until 11 o'clock to get over here. If you don't get over here, well, we'll take all remedies possible to rectify this. At 3 o'clock p.m. on March 27th, 2026, Ms. Matney filed a status update on emergency motion to set a deposition location, wherein she relayed that she had appeared at the deposition location she had arranged with private security and waited until noon. Ms. Matney's social media posts from later that same day included pictures of her eating lemon pound cake. I love how this lemon pound, you feel like lemon pound cake, right? She was eating lemon pound cake with the plaintiff's lead counsel after the attempted deposition was adjourned and toasting herself. She was toasting with a beverage. She was toasting with a beverage, guys, at an outdoor location. So it was lemon pound cake and a beverage. She also posted pictures of herself, her counsel, and her husband having what appears to be a celebratory meal outing in Savannah. Really, Savannah. The court observes that Ms. Matney's post memorializing these activities evidence her intent to defy her obligation to appear at the noticed deposition location. Hi, Ivy. How are you? You don't really care for Mandy? Are you from South Carolina? Do you know her personally from the area, or you just don't like her reporting or something? Tell me about it. I know that a lot of people are not fans, and they cite some things that she does. I don't know, some posts and things like that. I know I've seen that in the past. I think there was stuff about her husband, like when they were getting married and stuff. I believe I'm remembering that from like Facebook. People were talking about the post that she was putting out there, and I think that they were, I don't know, an arrogance, or maybe like she was, I don't know, like kind of rubbing it in people's faces or something. I think that, does that sound right, Ivy? Something like that, maybe? It was a while ago. I know I read something like that. You don't know her personally, Ivy, but you read a book. You read her book and you just got bad vibes. Yeah, that's okay. I don't know her personally either. Someone, I just explained that some lawyer told me I should have contacted her and about a different thing. But, how she treated Buster. I don't think I'm sure of that. But your parents used to get you a lemon torte cake for your birthday? Yum. But were you toasting with beverages, Scooter? Okay. So let's see what happened here. So she was toasting with beverages, right? Eating that lemon pound cake, and I guess she had them. Then they went to Savannah and they posted that meal outing. The court observes that she was defiant, and in an order filed on March 30th, the court denied Ms. Matney's emergency motion, explaining that emergency motions are generally disfavored and that emergency relief is not to be provided to the dilatory. The court noted that the parties have had nearly 5 months since the first notice of the deposition to agree on a location, and Ms. Matney sought to raise this issue less than 1 week prior to the scheduled deposition. On March 30th, 2026, the Parkers' defendants filed the instant motion for a rule to show cause, seeking to hold Ms. Matney in contempt and compelling her attendance at an in-person videotaped deposition. On April 4th, 2026, Ms. Matney filed a response opposing the motion and an affidavit from her podcast co-host Elizabeth Farrell on April 6, 2026. As noted above, on April 7th, the court conducted a hearing at which testimony was taken, including from Ms. Matney, who testified that she made the decision not to go to the notice deposition location and that she was not physically unable to appear there. The court directed that Ms. Matney appear the following day for an in-person deposition at the Spartanburg County Courthouse. On April 8th, Ms. Matney sat for an in-person videotaped deposition at the Spartanburg County Courthouse as directed by the court. On April 30th, 2026, the court granted the Parkers' defendants' motion for a rule to show cause and ordered Ms. Matney to appear on May 15th, 2026 to show cause, if she could, as to why she should not be held in contempt with willfully failing to comply with a duly issued subpoena requiring her to appear for a deposition on March 27th at the notice location, and the March 16th, 2026 order of the court. On May 13th, Ms. Matney filed an objection to non-sworn contempt motion in which she objected to the contempt motion being heard at all. On May 15th, arguing that the Parkers' defendants' contempt petition was not verified or accompanied by an affidavit, which she contended to be a fatal defect that could not be cured. The Parkers' defendants responded, citing State v. Nathans. At the end of the hearing on June 22, 2026, the court ruled from the bench that it had issued the RTSC based on Ms. Matney's sworn testimony on April 7th, where she acknowledged that she did not attend the deposition at the notice location. As the court held in Nathans, there was no risk of any false allegations of conduct being used to support the issuance of an RTSC. Additionally, Ms. Matney waived the issue as she failed to raise it during the April 7th hearing, during which the court noted that the hearing was to determine if an RTSC issue that the hearing was to determine if an RTSC should issue. A hearing was held on May 15, 2026, continued on June 22, 2026, during which Ms. Matney presented evidence and witnesses and the court took the matter under advisement. Legal standard: the power to punish for contempt is inherent in all courts. The trial court's power includes the ability to maintain order and decorum of the court. The power is essential. Okay, so they have their power, and then they can hold people in contempt. Contempt results from the willful disobedience of an order of the court. A willful act is one which is done voluntarily and intentionally, with the specific intent to do something that the law forbids, or with the specific intent to fail to do something the law requires to be done. Failure by any person without adequate excuse to obey a subpoena served upon the person may be deemed a contempt of the court from which the subpoena issued. Civil contempt must be proven by clear and convincing evidence. Once the moving party has made out, okay, let's go over here to this. Okay, in a civil contempt proceeding, contemptor may be required to reimburse a complainant for the costs he incurred in enforcing the court's prior order, including reasonable attorney fees. The award of attorney fees is not punishment, but an indemnification to the party who instituted the contempt proceeding. Thus, the court is not required to provide the contemptor with an opportunity to purge himself of these attorney's fees in order to hold himself in civil contempt. So here's the analysis. Let's see here. Courts have no more important function to perform in the administration of justice than to ensure their orders are obeyed. The Parker's defendants. Come on, let's go. It's going to go on for. Ms. Matney argues that she has not acted with a bad purpose, either to disobey or disregard the law, which is necessary to support the finding of contempt. When asked directly whether she decided not to go to the notice location, Ms. Matney answered affirmatively. Attending the deposition at the notice location was not impossible. Ms. Matney had a true choice. Ms. Matney had the ability to appear for the deposition at the notice location, and she and her counsel chose to appear at a different location willfully and refused to attend the deposition at the notice location. Based upon the foregoing, there is clear and convincing evidence that Ms. Matney's failure to appear was not the result of confusion, mistake, or inability, but rather was a deliberate decision to disregard the subpoena and the court's March 16, 2026 order that she be deposed within 14 days. Having determined that there is clear and convincing evidence establishing contempt, the court must now determine if Ms. Matney has a valid defense or was unable to comply with the subpoena. So, hold on, I gotta get a drink. Ms. Matney asserted safety concerns were based primarily on the alleged online harassment by one individual, James Seidel, who Ms. Matney described as a stalker and a convicted felon. Ms. Matney argued that his social media obsession is subjectively extremely concerning to her and her husband. Reviewing the examples Ms. Matney filed with the court, Mr. Seidel's online conduct involved critical comments and what can best be described as mocking or taunting directly at Ms. Matney. However, none of the posts filed with the court concerning Mr. Seidel contained any physical threats towards her. Further, there was no evidence in the record that Mr. Seidel's purported harassment has been the subject of any criminal prosecution or civil litigation. At the April 7th hearing, Ms. Matney testified that prior to March 27th, she had not filed a police report or obtained a restraining order against Mr. Seidel. Ms. Matney testified she was in the process of taking out a restraining order against him. However, at the June 22nd, 2026 hearing, Ms. Matney acknowledged that she had not yet sought or obtained such an order against Mr. Seidel. While she argued that in her emergency motion that she has online harassers who show up at public appearances in court proceedings and send her mail and text messages. At the June 22nd hearing, Ms. Matney acknowledged that the alleged harassment by Mr. Seidel has been entirely online, and Mr. Seidel has not attempted to contact her directly or in person. At this hearing, Mr. Bland likewise testified that he was not aware of Mr. Seidel making any physical threats to Ms. Matney. Ms. Matney has also argued that the Parker's defendants had connections with Mr. Seidel, and they were disclosing information to him about the deposition, which contributed to her fear for his safety as the notice location. But Ms. Matney relies solely on information and belief and well-sourced rumors, as there is no persuasive evidence in the record to support her assertion. As for the notice location, Ms. Matney was unable to articulate any specific concrete safety threat unique to the notice location that would excuse compliance with the subpoena. At the April 7th hearing, Ms. Matney testified that she was scared of going to the notice location because she does not trust a lot of people, and she felt like the deposition at the notice location was a trap. She further testified that if the deposition took place at the notice location, she would have made sure the entry was secure and nothing prevented her from taking these security measures at the notice location. As she subsequently acknowledged, the security guard that she hired for the deposition could have accompanied her to the notice location, and he presumably would have secured the location as Ms. Matney desired. Additionally, Ms. Matney posts on social media, which were entered into evidence at the April 7th hearing, are inconsistent with her argument and that she did not appear because she believed she would be in imminent danger at the notice location. Ms. Matney has posted that she does not think the Parker's defendants have the right to depose her, and she is fighting back. She has expressed her defiance for the court and its orders, characterizing the denial of her motion to quash as bullshit. She posted she would rather go to jail than sit in the same room as counsel for the Parker's defendants for this deposition. After refusing to appear for her deposition, she made posts celebrating that she stood her ground and that this deposition did not take place. While she may have been more comfortable at her desired location, her attorney's office, the court finds Ms. Matney's testimony that she feared for her safety to such an extent that she could not attend a deposition at the notice location, a law firm in Bluffton with a security guard and surrounded by her attorneys, is not credible. Moreover, there is no pervasive evidence in the record to support Ms. Matney's repeated assertions that the Parker's defendants and their attorneys pursued her deposition to harass and bully her. Finally, Ms. Matney has stressed in filings and during hearings that she is a non-party who has nothing to do with this case. She has repeatedly represented to the court that she has no relevant information related to this litigation except for reporting on it that the Parker's defendants and their attorneys are using her deposition and this contempt proceeding to harass or punish her for reporting on the Murdaugh case and to silence her. However, these assertions lack evidentiary support, and in denying Ms. Matney's motion... Oh, wait a minute, we have a new member? Hold on, how come I didn't hear that? Ivy's a new member? What, did she just... Ivy, why didn't thing come up? How come I didn't see that? Scooter, why didn't I see Ivy become a new member? Gosh, Ivy, I'm sorry. Let me play you a song. I'm really excited you're a new member. Hold on. Let me play you a song. Oh my goodness. I don't know why. I usually get a chime or something and then a banner comes up. I'm sorry about that. Let me play you a song. Thank you for becoming a new member. That's very appreciated. Then let's see. Here's our membership thing right here. This is for you.
Hey there, Rambler, pull up a chair. You're part of the family, loves everywhere. From late night laughter, stories that matter. We ramble together, it's perfectly scattered. Welcome, welcome, Ramblers Unite, Ramblers Unite. Ooh, different levels, same heart, shining bright. Thank you for the love, for the time that you bring. Mommy Ramblings grows because of everything.
Thank you very much, Ivy. Nice to have you as a new Rambler. We appreciate you. Okay, and I know I'm sorry that didn't show me. I don't know what the deal with that was. Oh, I'm glad you like it. Welcome aboard. You're going to like it here. No, you will. You will. We have a great chat. We have great moderators. We have great chatters. Yep. And we try to make it very welcoming for everybody. Okay, so let's see. We got this now. What is she doing now? She said she was scared to go there. They said bullshit. Right? That's what they said. And you like Mandy? She did expose a lot. Hey there. She did expose a lot. I know. I'm not saying, listen, I haven't met her in person. Okay? And people can like her and people can dislike her. They can have their opinion, you know. Sometimes people like somebody, but they dislike certain things. That's okay. Everybody's respectful. Everybody can have their opinion. We're not gonna. It's okay. You both can have your opinion. Ivy can say maybe she's not so fond of her, and DW, you might say, hey, I really like her. You know, that's fine. We can all exist. We're adults. All right. So let's go on with this. So she got in trouble here. She's in trouble with the court, okay? That's what happened here. And so they said, importantly, this contempt proceeding arose from Ms. Matney's own conduct. Had she appeared for her deposition at the notice location or accepted the alternative location offered by the Parker's defendants, she would not be before the court on a contempt motion. Now, I imagine she had counsel, right? She had counsel. The counsel had to tell her, look, hey, if you do this, this is what can happen, okay? Ms. Matney's stated reason for failing to comply, that the notice location was not sufficiently safe for her, is not supported by the evidence of any credible testimony. Moreover, as discussed above, filing an emergency motion, absent a stay or order granting relief, did not excuse her compliance with the subpoena or with this court's prior orders. Accordingly, based on all of the evidence before this court, the court finds that there is clear and convincing evidence that Ms. Matney's failure to appear for her deposition at the notice location was without adequate excuse or cause and constitutes willful disobedience of both a valid subpoena and the court's March 16, 2026 order. Okay, so the judge is like, hey, you didn't comply with the court order. Now you're going to find out what I'm going to do to you. So the court finds Ms. Matney's motion to quash, although denied, was filed as a matter of right. However, as made clear by the court's order denying her motion to quash, court's rulings on her subsequent motions referenced herein, all of Ms. Matney's follow-up filings lacked merit, and the Parker's defendants prevailed on all of them. More specifically, a motion for reconsideration in an extraordinary is an extraordinary remedy that is not intended to provide a dissatisfied litigant with a second opportunity to relitigate issues already decided by the court. Rather, reconsideration is generally appropriate only when there have been an intervening change in controlling law, newly discovered evidence, or a clear error of law. Hello, video reel. Hi, Denise again. Okay, so Ms. Matney's, let's keep going so Ms. Matney's multiple motions supporting memoranda have required the Parker's defendants to devote substantial time and resources to responding to arguments that lack merit and have previously been adjudicated. These unnecessary filings imposed financial burdens on the Parker's defendants that would not have been incurred but for Ms. Matney's conduct. As noted above, in a civil contempt proceeding, the court may order a contemnor to reimburse a complainant for the costs he incurred in enforcing the court's prior order, including reasonable attorney fees. The award of attorney fees is not a punishment, right? But it's an indemnification to the party who instituted the contempt proceeding. So they're saying that this is not a punishment. This is a matter of the court because you didn't comply with an order. It required the other side to have to do things. And hey, Gia. Hi, Gia. Michael, how are you? Not nice. What's not nice? Ignore my message, Mom. Which message? I didn't ignore it. I said we're going to go hiking early. I said we want to go hiking as early as possible on Saturday. What did I ignore? Not nice. That's not nice. I was on live. Such sanctions as necessary protect the integrity of the judicial process, and the system depends upon parties respecting subpoenas and motions practices in good faith. Okay, so it's therefore ordered that the Parker's defendant's motion to hold Ms. Matney in contempt for willful failing to comply with a duly issued subpoena and the orders of this court is granted, and it is therefore ordered that Ms. Matney shall pay the Parker's defendants reasonable expenses and attorney fees and costs incurred as a result of her willful and intentional failure to appear for the March 27th deposition. Okay, so then it comes down here to, after applying these factors, the court awards the Parker's defendants $171,500 for attorney's fees and costs, of which $39,900 is awarded to the law firm of Bannister Wyatt Stalvey LLC. $45,950 is awarded to the law firm of Deborah B. Barbier LLC, and $85,650 is awarded to the law firm of Maynard Nexon PC. This award represents 44.7% reduction of the total fees and costs requested by the Parker's defendant. So she got a 44.7% reduction, right? The court believes that a fine, in addition to the above referenced costs and expenses, is necessary. So now this is the punishment, right? He said the lawyer's fees was not the punishment, but now you look here and it says the fine, right? The fine is necessary here to deter similar conduct in the future and to promote respect for the law. The court therefore imposes a fine of $5,000 with said fine due and payable within 60 days of the date of this order. Okay, so now the court wants $5,000 to deter this from ever happening again. Right? Right. Okay, it is so ordered. And that's it. Now let's see what is her reaction, right? We'll see what her reaction is to this. Let's see what her reaction is to this. I think she said she was glad she stood her ground. Let me see. Let's see. See, okay, and I'm just going to say, okay, and we're adults here. On certain message boards, I'll say, you're going to find different opinions on Mandy Matney. Some people are very against her, even though it's not even that they're like pro Murdaugh. She just rubbed some people the wrong way. They're not saying that everything she did was bad, but that you'll see, and this is what I remember, you'll see some opinions. And doesn't that have to happen with everyone? Anyone that's in the public eye has haters and people that like them. So let's see what happened here. Let's see what the public opinion here is, right? Someone said this defamation suit saga has mainly stayed out of the message boards and remained background noise, but it is becoming more well known for a deeper dive piece. There's another post with an article by Fitz News. Please keep the conversation courteous. Okay, someone said, this gives me hope that John and Lauren Matthias will also face... Okay, that's not even to do with this now. I've also thought Mandy was a professional hanger-on to this case, even though she supposedly broke it. Okay, that's somebody's opinion there. Confidentiality. What is this now? Mandy Matney. I'm not angry that the judge... I'm angry that he's... Oh, yeah, I heard this. Okay. She's not angry that Judge R. Keith Kelly found her in contempt of court, but she's angry that he's ordering her to pay an unprecedented amount in legal fees. The $171,000 and $5,000 in fines to Greg Parker's attorneys. Well, actually, the fines, I believe, are being paid to the court. So it's the $171,000 that's being paid to the attorneys. Then she lists them by name. She says, I am angry that he ruled that the fees are confidential, so I have no idea how much of that money was actually spent to stalk my social media and defame me in the public index. She said, if I am reading this order correctly, oh no, this is the person now. If I'm reading this order correctly, she's BSing her audience. She's allowed to see the billings. She's just not allowed to talk about the billings. So then someone said, girl, he already reduced their actual fees by almost half after very carefully reviewing all their billing statements. You got lucky. The legal fees incurred on this nonsense should be double that. Pick your battles. Get real legal advice, not from enablers. Someone said, she's not BSing her audience. Listen to the most recent podcast. She brings this up. And Eric Bland tells her that's something she should absolutely address in an appeal. Someone said, he's an enabler. Mandy, you would have received better legal advice about how to handle this from Grok, for real. So someone said, this is who has access to the records. Mandy Matney fits within the non-party category. Point number 2, counsel and employers of counsel for the parties and non-parties who have responsibility for the preparation and litigation. They said she fits in part 2, parties and non-parties and employees of a party or a non-party to this order, but only to the extent counsel shall certify that the specifically named individual, party, or employee's assistance is necessary to conduct the litigation in which the information is disclosed. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Someone said, kind of ironic that after months of complaining, she had no relevant info to give to Parker's because, in part, she was just a non-party, that she is now complaining that she doesn't have access to a certain court filing because she's just a non-party. Earlier today, she posted, I have no idea how much of that money was actually spent to stalk my social media and defame me. Let's see. Someone said, good grief. Back off with your legal list. I shared what she said on her podcast and what Eric said in response. Okay. Someone said, I think the judge's ruling is fair, and I agree that she has crossed the line from a legit journalism to everything is now about her. I think Debbie B. missed an opportunity when cross-examining Mandy Matney. Mandy Matney stated many times that she felt safe going into bars and restaurants because her husband was with her, and he carries a concealed gun. Carrying a concealed weapon while consuming alcohol is against the law. Okay, someone said, true, but I think Debbie was right in staying focused on the matter at hand, contempt versus getting too far into the weeds, as it were, like Mandy did by bringing up multiple other subjects, allegations, etc. Debbie respected the court's time and efforts, and I strongly suspect she also realizes that Mandy really dug herself into a hole in so many ways with her testimony. Speaking of Mandy's testimony, I watched her entire testimony, and I was shocked at how she conducted herself on the stand. It was as if her attorneys had not done any prep with her, practicing answering questions in a truthful but simple way. You never tell opposing counsel something they don't already know, etc. And she had several very immature outbursts, i.e., when she answered a question, Debbie asked in a sneering tone. When she answered a question, Debbie asked in a sneering tone, she said, well, Debbie, blah, blah, blah. I didn't see her testimony. I don't know. I don't know if her legal counsel is terrible or if she's getting sound advice, but ignoring it may be a bit of both. I am also astounded that her attorneys willingly let her miss a deposition and then took photos with her celebrating with lemon pound cake and beverages and what else? In Savannah. Her contempt were posted all over social media. It is like none of them have a lick of sense, I like that lick of sense, except maybe Liz, who just did it and got it over with. And I've been subpoenaed for a deposition before that I did not want to give. It sucks. But if you have a decent attorney advising you, then it isn't the worst thing. It gave me a lot of insight into civil lawsuits and how the courts work. Okay, someone says, let's see here. Somebody said they're a way early follower of this whole horrible mess. And they thought that Mandy was pretty brave, hardworking and dedicated to reporting on various matters in this case, tenaciously uncovering information and openly reporting on her findings. She joined up with Liz, and they both did a good job of keeping up, and there's a lot to keep up with every single day. Something was new, unexpected, disturbing. The region did not really have a truly experienced, dedicated, impartial, professional journalist. It was Will Folks, Fitz News, which had its own flavor, local, color, blog style, and direct participation in certain reporting events. And Mandy worked for Will. There was also the Island Packet where Liz Farrell worked. Personally, I fell off the Mandy interest when, as others have pointed out, the tone of her information reporting became territorial and, most importantly, self-indulgent, openly soliciting money for coffee and so forth. This represents a hard line to me. Journalistic professionalism versus reporter blogging. Mandy moved into the not professional area, into personally monetizing her information. Nothing wrong with this, and I tend to treat this type of reporting as more entertainment and speculative. Okay to do that, and the endless commentary on her vocal fry was not particularly interesting. Okay. I don't know if they mean or her. I think they mean or her vocal fry. I don't know. Somewhere, Mandy Matney got her wires crossed for whatever reason, and in this circumstance, she repeatedly and erroneously tried to circumvent the lawful orders of the court, defiantly. She tried to apply a professional legal journalist label standard inappropriately to her blog reporting. She tried to circumvent the legal process with a fake false narrative, and then she doubled down on relating. What is that? Okay. Some kind of, what is that? It almost sounds like a cicada, like, no, it's not a cricket or something, but whatever it is, it might like true crime. Okay. She tried to apply a professional legal journalist label standard inappropriately to her blog reporting. She tried to circumvent the legal process with a false narrative, and then she doubled down on it, relating that she would rather sit in jail than meet with these attorneys for her safety. One of the least safe places, dear reader, on the planet is being in a literal cage. You are completely dependent for everything. You can be beaten, abused in countless ways, starved, degraded, and face death. If there's a fire, an uprising, a crazy cellmate, okay, they go on and on with that. So they're saying, like, how could she say she'd rather do that, sit in a jail cell, than answer a court-ordered deposition because she didn't like to agree with what was happening and she didn't feel safe? This is unhinged, this person said. This is someone who has forgotten or doesn't understand what freedom and the value of freedom truly is. The judge sort of granted her mercy by reducing the amount she owed. But make no mistakes, Mandy is going to be in a life-changing, deep financial hole that is not a deferred student loan. She will incur a payment plan, wage garnishment, financial scrutiny, increased borrowing rates, high risk. She will have difficulty buying a car, a house, and will have to live with a loss of financial security. Even her credit cards will be an issue. But wait a second, because she has she wrote a book, and she has, I guess, the Hulu documentary or the movie or whatever must have bought the rights to use her book, all right, and she must be getting residuals off of that. Plus, she has all of those podcasts, and she probably has a considerable amount of money. You really think that the $176,000 is going to do all that to her? Do you guys think that? I don't think that. And I think they'll probably fundraise. They'll probably crowdfund for it for her supporters. Don't you think so? I really don't think it's going to be to do everything that they're saying. I mean, she's got to, if the lawyer really advised her, if her counsel really advised her to do this, essentially she could get something from them. But I don't know. I mean, did her counsel say you shouldn't do this? It's against my legal advice? I don't know. Anyway, it says loss of financial security, even her credit cards will be an issue. This is a huge amount of money, and should she fail to make payments or late, she will end up in court to explain herself. She wasted the time, talent, and money of the court, including compelling the judge to have to investigate, research, and write up this order. It's time for Mandy to accept reality. Having main character syndrome has its costs. One of the costs may well be her financial freedom for decades, and another is the complete loss of any possible journalistic integrity due to her inability to see. I don't think that's going to happen. A lot of these people say, I mean, I've heard when things have happened on here and they're like, oh my gosh, that person's done. And like even people that have done things that you can't, you're like, well, maybe they aren't. They're not. And if you think it's like 15 minutes, you think that when the Murdaugh trial comes around again, she's not going to be out there reporting it. And she has probably a huge fan base. I don't follow her, but I'm sure she has a huge fan base. So I don't think it's going to do that. I think they're going to stand behind her and be like, oh, you took a stand, girl. We're behind you. That's what I think. I don't know. I think that. I think they're going to back her. I do. Someone says, amazing comment, perfectly said. Someone said, not sure about that. She's already posted about starting a GoFundMe to pay off the debt. See? Yeah, I don't think it's really going to. No. The purpose of sanctions deterring the sanctioned conduct from occurring again, and if she passes the debt off to her followers, that is no deterrence. Does she really have enough of an audience to float that? I don't think so. She also has massive reputational damage from this ruling. In my opinion, and some of her audience may no longer be interested, I wouldn't be surprised if her attorneys fire her as a client. I don't know. Does she have? I don't even know, guys. What is that? Is she doing a podcast like on? Was she on Spotify or something like that? Because I don't think it's YouTube. That's the big channel for her. But she might have a big TikTok, Instagram. What is it? Like I said, I don't follow her, but DW, right? I think said you follow her. Below is her plea to subs. Oh, she has a plea to subs. Hold on a minute. I read in the court filings, this person said she couldn't take a screenshot, so she had to retype it. But it says, I read in the court filings that Liz is paid $15,000 per month and Eric is paid something like $2,500 per episode. I might be off, but it seems reasonable that Mandy would make double or more of what she pays Liz. And then it said, we need your support now than ever. She must have mean more now than ever. We have an uphill legal battle ahead. We'll announce a broader fundraising strategy soon, but to send immediate support, please join Premium on Patreon tomorrow, Supercast today, or donate here. Okay, so someone said, oh, I forgot about that aspect of the I bear no responsibility and I'm a victim role, SMH. They said, that's a lot of coffee. The Mandy Matney love-hate fest is fascinating to watch. Besides, no one seems to electrify this forum quite like Mandy. I've never been able to make much sense of it. Okay, so it says, I agree with you, but I understand how she can be seen both ways. I do not buy into making fun of her voice and any personal insults. I don't either. You don't have to attack a person. Whenever someone attacks a person like that, it's because they don't really have any facts. Like they don't have real things. Like they have to go low and attack their looks or their weight or their it's never good. You've already lost if you go there. Go low like that. Don't go low like that. Take the high road. Okay, so let's see what. I was a huge fan, and I give her lots of credit for her work. That said, I like a journalist that reports stories without inserting themselves as part of the story, as she morphed into. And that is fine. I'm just not the right audience for that approach. I'm a little surprised by her lawyers. Personally, I probably would have withdrawn. Courts generally do not like multiple motions for reconsideration, and there is no way I would support a client not appearing at a deposition after a multi-month fight. My reputation with the court and license is worth more than any one client. Someone said you would be very wise. The footnote is the judge's ruling didn't let the attorney slide off unnoticed. Okay. Someone said she thought she could get away with this and get a slap on the wrist. Didn't happen. Why did she not feel safe with lawyers? I don't. She had a security guard. I don't know why. But then, like she told them on the stand, apparently, according to this testimony, that it wasn't that she didn't feel safe. She could have went there, and she just didn't. I don't know. Okay, so I don't know. Remember during the trial when she saw Murdaugh's lawyer in the stairwell, so she and Liz had to run away so they wouldn't have to be near him? And she reported it like she was the hero of the story, but really came off a tad immature. How old is she? Yeah, her not showing up to the deposition is giving the same energy. She's a non-party witness. This is ridiculous. No, it's not. The order lays it out well. She flagrantly flouted a subpoena and multiple court orders with no credible grounds. She reportedly antagonized both the Parkers' attorneys and the court. She's a perpetual victim who needs to grow the F up. Tell us how you really feel. This doesn't make her subpoena any less of an order of the court. That's all that matters. Okay, so let's see. Someone said this seemed performative by Mandy. You can't decide whether or not you have information. She knew that, or she should have. Someone said, yeah, I really enjoyed the beginnings of her podcast when it was scrappy and she was doing work no one else did. She did she did a lot of people. They must have forgot a word there. But then it just goes to her head and got tiresome. Someone said, I sometimes got the feeling like she felt she was better than the other reporters who grew up down here or had been members of communities in this state for many years, and that her work was better as a result and should take precedence. It's a shame because with her refusing to let go of that bone, someone had to finally deal with all of Alex's mayhem as well as paying honest attention to Stephen Smith's death. Someone said she's a good journalist who allowed this to become way too personal. Someone said she's not even a good journalist, in my opinion. It's basic common sense not to insert oneself into a story, nor to be indignant when multiple outlets report on the same story. Someone said, I agree. Made herself part of the story and lost me with that. Stay pesky. Exactly. She inserted herself into the case as a plucky reporter, and she made herself a character rather than an observer. I had to stop listening because her podcast felt more like a story of her experiences as a journalist rather than a podcast about the case. When Eric Bland testified on her behalf before he mentioned the criticism she received on the vocal fry, he said to Mandy that he was sorry. He was about to use that term. Let's see. I watched Eric on the stand giving his testimony. It seemed like he was between a rock and a hard place. He tried to support Mandy as much as he could. And when pressed, he conceded things. I guess the cup of justice will certainly be interesting, they said. Someone said, this is what I expected. I mean, she all but taunted the judge. She posted her intentions on social media, and then she had followers come to court wearing pink during her contempt hearing. Surely she expected this ruling. I do wonder if she received bad legal counsel or if she was just too headstrong to listen to counsel. Let's see. The judge was critical of her lawyers in this order. I wonder what they were telling her throughout all of this. Someone said, Eric said during one of the podcasts that her lawyers should have been able to exclude the stolen text messages from Fitz News. It had happened. It already happened at that point, so there was nothing they could do. Okay, let's see what else. Someone said, I enjoyed her coverage when she was initially bringing all of this to light. But she kind of lost the plot when she became upset that other people were reporting on it, kind of like she owned the story. And then she started making fun of the way people looked. And I got a really bad taste in my mouth. I hadn't heard anything about this. She deserves credit for pursuing this and shining light on what Murdaugh was doing. She has also acted like an idiot since then. Someone said, I like Mandy. I stopped listening when Alex was found guilty because I lost interest. I do remember her sounding territorial of the story. To be fair, she opened a lot of leads that I think others took advantage of. But that's showbiz for you. The guy who runs, I'm not even going to, is similarly affected. Okay. She deserves credit for pursuing this and shining light. Exactly. Mandy was indeed the first one to pull the loose thread that eventually unraveled everything. Absolutely. I get people might feel the same way at this point. But she was the catalyst for jump-starting public interest and exposing incidents prior to the murder case, Stephen Smith, boat accident, fraudulent dealings by Alex, with many victims. It's tragedy. Someone said Michael DeWitt was also there pretty shortly after shots rang out at Moselle. Yes, as a journalist winning many awards, lifelong resident of Hampton County, and the editor of the Hampton County Guardian. He's known the Murdaughs for a very long time, generations actually. Okay. Someone said exactly what I would say. Great podcast, so much information, but then it became too personal and was a huge turnoff. Someone said she's very self-centered and self-serving in the way she reports and presents herself, and it hurts the credibility of her work when it's good. She's not someone with a ton of respect from colleagues in South Carolina media. This sounds like her amateurism, costing her big time. No one respects her as a professional, someone said here. Originally, it was more because she is just not a nice person, but over time it became more apparent that her reporting may have been less accurate than once believed, and influenced more by interested parties rather than independent journalism. Someone said beyond that, she can't even tell the story in a linear fashion. Genuinely, the worst podcast I've ever listened to. Someone said, yeah, I largely dropped her podcast when she started getting territorial. Like, part of me gets it. She was getting a lot of attention for her reporting, and she was the local girl, so the idea that other reporters would sweep in and get the attention and money had to be grating. But other reporters have handled this issue so much better. It's a known thing in journalism circles. You have to manage it well and make yourself the best voice using the extra connections you have. I also didn't like how so much of her reporting felt like she was turning rumor into news stories, or how her opinion on things was the facts. Not everything she did was like that, but there was enough of it that it turned me off. It's a rare case when I want the reporter to be part of the story. Basically, Ann Rule gets a pass for Bundy, but that's about it. Okay, so that's the gist of it. There you got, what's going on. Let me see if I can find you guys again. So what do you guys think? So hi, High Speed, how are you? So DW says, I hadn't listened to her in a while. You haven't listened to her in a while? Yeah. I don't know that I ever have. Maybe once I've listened to her. I really haven't, DW. I really can't even say I remember. I know I looked into her, like there was a story, but it was a long time ago. I think I might have heard she was on to something else with that Cup of Justice and Eric Bland. But yeah, I didn't know. Where's our Ivy? Ivy, where'd you go? Where's our new member, Ivy? Hi, Ivy. Hi, who's that? Rob Roy? Hi, Rob Roy. How are you? How's it going? How you doing? Rob Roy is in the house. Oh, there's Ivy. Hi, Ivy Speed. You're up there. Scooter's up there. Okay. So let's go on to Linda. Within 2 weeks of Nancy's disappearance, I believe she passed away. She wouldn't be discovered for a long time. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about just Murdaugh and the death penalty, okay? And see, all right, and that's what's enough of Mandy Matney. But she is involved in this case, and really she broke a lot of stuff, and a lot of people did like her in the beginning, and it's looking like maybe some people don't, some people still do, Everybody, like I said, feels the way they want. Let's see now what Alex Murdaugh, right? Alex Murdaugh. So the prosecutors have said that the death penalty is on the table for Alex's upcoming trial, his retrial. In May of 2026, it was overturned his original 2023 conviction for the murders of his wife Maggie and his son Paul. Right? And because that conviction was overturned, the state attorney general considers the case it's back to square one, meaning that all legal options, including capital punishment, are viable again. This represents a shift from his first trial, where the prosecution opted to seek life without parole instead of the death penalty. Murdaugh's retrial is scheduled to begin with jury selection on April 5th, 2027. South Carolina Supreme Court's decision to grant a new trial followed allegations that the former Culleton County Clerk of Court, Becky Hill, influenced the jury to secure a guilty verdict and a potential book deal. Okay, let's see now. So that he could face the death penalty. Back on the table for Alex. Do you think that could get him to take a plea or something? I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay, now we're going to go to case in Florida, right? Is that where I am? Let me just look at my thumbnail. Keep myself accountable. Keep myself accountable here. Okay, so we did the Mandy Matney. Mandy, did you? Alex, we talked about you there. Nancy Grace is going to be at the trial. Scooter, I hope you heard me say that. Now we're going to talk about these two. This is crazy what you're going to hear. Is it a cult? What is it? They adopted this girl at I think it was 2 weeks old. She's 12 years old now. They have 6 biological children and the adopted daughter. They are devout Christians, and I say that because they may say they're Christians, but I don't know, their behavior seems to challenge that, right? I don't know. You can decide. I don't know. Yeah. Let's talk about this couple, because they faced new charges today and they're still out on bond, and there's 6 other kids that they treated just fine. Where did I put you? Right there. Okay, so let's talk about these two right here. Joel and Jennifer. Joel and Jennifer right here. So he is a Florida firefighter, which comes into play because he should have known some safety things, okay? But he and his wife, Joel and Jennifer, are facing child abuse charges after allegedly locking their adopted daughter in a sparsely furnished bedroom for years, 3 years to be exact. Their last name is Kohnert, Kohnert, and they're charged with felony child abuse, and police say they locked their 12-year-old adopted daughter in her bedroom for approximately 3 years. Joel, who's 44, is a firefighter. He put a lock outside her door, and he restricted the window from opening. And that's according to the probable cause affidavit, which locked her in a place where she could not escape, even if something, like happened. So, and the firefighter to do that, you'll hear it later, right? She had no bathroom in her bedroom. So she obviously had accidents on the floor, which she was made to clean up in the morning. And then she was told to put on a bathing suit and take a bath outside. So let's see here. They're accused of that and the ongoing mental and physical abuse over a period of approximately 3 years. The alleged victim described inhumane living conditions, according to this affidavit, and said she urinated and defecated on herself because she was not given access to a toilet when she was locked in her bedroom. She told investigators that she would be forced to use her clothing to clean urine and feces using vinegar and bleach, and then she had to wash the clothing in a small bucket before drying it in her room. The affidavit states that the girl said she is subsequently required to wear the same clothing. Investigators with Coral Springs, Florida, a nice area, police department soon learned that the young girl's bedroom door was locked from the outside and the window in her bedroom did not open. She had an air mattress on the floor. She only had about 3 outfits, and there was a large sound machine that concealed out the noise made by Jennifer, Joel, and the couple's 6 biological children. Of those 6 children, 4 were minors. They were not locked in their bedrooms. And the investigators noted that they had clean and properly furnished bedrooms and contained toys and personal items. By comparison, the investigators said the 12-year-old's room smelled of urine. That and her clothing showed stains that were consistent with the claims that she had to clean up with using the clothing. When she was let out of her room, it was often to bathe in the backyard, even when it was bad weather. After speaking with the alleged victim, authorities interviewed the 6 other children and the couple, who allegedly did not deny the allegations and instead corroborated the girl's account. Jennifer and Joel adopted the child when she was just 2 months old. It was 2 months old, not 2 weeks. Allegedly, they would make the girl write Bible verses, and they once had her tread water for 45 minutes. In the week before the authorities began to investigate the family, the adopted daughter said Jennifer pulled her hair and slapped her, which caused her lip to bleed. She also told investigators that Jennifer called her derogatory names, said she is bipolar like her biological mother, and allegedly provided the girl details about her mother's substance abuse and death. Very Christian, Jennifer. Do you think Jennifer is very Christian? That's why I put it in quotes. Do you think she's very Christian? Like, the adopted daughter and the 4 minor biological siblings were removed from the house after their parents' arrest, and they have since been new charges filed against Jennifer and Joel amid the ongoing investigation, but they're still out on bond. Excuse me. Those charges include 4 counts of contributing to the neglect of a child and 1 count of child neglect. The couple has entered not guilty pleas to all the charges at this time. Okay, so let's dig a little deeper into these 2. You can answer me now if you think that they embody Christianity to you. Let me go over here. Okay, so let me show you here. There are other children, as you can see here. Were treated to a different type of a life. Going out, doing things, and she was never allowed to have meals with the family. They kept her really ostracized and had her writing proverbs and things like that, while I guess they were applauding themselves for adopting her. Probably that, you know, this was their house. Oh, is their house. I'm going to get more to what the judge said about him being a firefighter and all that. So just hang on. Okay. Let me see what we got here. Prosecutors filed 5 additional charges. Right? The police say the investigation began after the couple's 12-year-old adopted daughter told school staff she had been locked in a bedroom for years with no way out, forced to urinate and defecate in the room before cleaning it up, and made to write Bible verses as a form of punishment. Defense attorneys claim it was a misunderstanding of their religious beliefs, but the arrest reports say the adopted girl was the only one of the 7 kids who endured the abuse. See, it's a misunderstanding of their religious beliefs, because their religious beliefs, what Christian religious beliefs tell you to lock the child in there, have them defecate on themselves, clean it up every morning, then go outside, put a bathing suit on, bathe outside no matter what the weather, not have any meals or anything with the rest of the family, not be able to go around with the rest of the family, have a sleep machine so it drowns the rest of the family out so you can feel isolated, and you have your window locked so if there was an emergency and something happened, you couldn't escape by any means. Okay. So that's a misunderstanding of their religious beliefs. Okay. A judge left the couple's bond unchanged at $100,000, but ordered that they remain on GPS monitoring and reaffirmed that they can't have contact with any of the minor children unless it is permitted by the dependency court. Now, Joel Conert is currently on administrative leave without pay. And the next hearing in the case is August 20th, with the trial scheduled for August 31st, though that date is likely to change. Yeah, I bet it will be. The couple will be tried together. They both have pled not guilty. Let's go here. Hang on a minute. So he was a BSO fire rescue lieutenant, hired in 2010. His wife, and him were charged with this stuff. So here I've got some more stuff here about them. So the treading of the water in the pool for 45 minutes as a form of punishment. The court documents are heavily redacted. She would bathe outside in the backyard while wearing a swimsuit. And the judge said, when you allegedly have a 12-year-old child who is locked in a room for upwards of 3 years and is forced to urinate and defecate in the room and then clean it up with her clothes, that is not a religious issue. That is something else, said Judge Friedman. The victim in the case reported that she was subject to more frequent punishments and restrictions than the couple's 6 other children. The Department of Children and Family Services has since removed all 7 children from the home. But there was something I read when I was looking at this that they said that he, as a firefighter, should have been especially aware that this is not a safe situation for any child, right? To have that happening. Let's see here. I wonder if this is her Facebook. Let me just see this. No. Okay, I'm sorry for that. I was looking up something because I know there was something that I read earlier that I just was trying to find here. But that was the gist of it, that they said he should have known that. According to investigators, the case began after the child told staff. So this carries a potential sentence of up to 30 years in prison if they are convicted. Trying to see these. See if I can see. They said that. I'm just trying to see the affidavit here. Let me just see if I can get that. Okay. The best place for me to get this should be over here. Hang on one sec. Alrighty. I'm still here. I'm just looking at something up. Just trying to see if I can get this here. There are other 6 kids in the house who were treated perfectly. They had normal rooms with toys and clothing, etc., etc. It's just this one. They kept like this. Let's see. All right. More will come out, but I don't know. I guess I wonder if the adoption was something like through the church, being that the mother apparently died and they adopted her at 2 months. But I was just interested in, how'd she portray this? Did she coddle this child as a baby and then didn't like things later on, or what was going on, right? Let's see if there's anything here. The usual suspects, someone says. Oh, I told you he's on administrative leave, right? Yeah, and I guess just 2 of their kids are over, 18, and you guys, have you followed this case at all? Has anybody followed this case at all? Let me just go like this. All right, let's see if we have this here. Not too much going on with that. No. All right, so I'm sure more will be coming out on that. Let me get back to you guys. Hi, Heart. How are you? I wonder if they put all of their children into foster care. Now, let me see what's going on here. Carolyn, did they say why they decided to put the death penalty? Did they decide? Okay. Carolyn, did they say why they decided to put the death penalty on the table when he was on trial for the same thing before and they didn't? Do you mean why they decided to take it off the table for the last trial? Let me see if I have an official answer. Prosecutors never formally explain their exact reason for choosing life without parole over the death penalty, opting instead for consecutive life sentences. Legal analysts and observers noted that the choice avoided a lengthier and more expensive trial process through the state attorney. Though the state attorney generally noted the death penalty is back under consideration for an upcoming retrial. I wonder if it had to do with Buster at all. Maybe being that Alex is literally the last person in his immediate family. Maybe they thought it would be, just, I think, could it be that they gave some sympathy to Buster? I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. Let me know if that's what you might think that. This is so heartbreaking. Yeah, DW, right? It is. Buster named his son after him. Buster named his son after him. Wait, what are you talking about, B-Lady? Wait. Hold on. What are you talking about, B-Lady? Buster named whose son? Buster doesn't have a son. Buster named his son after him. Buster's named after his grandfather. Wait. You could check what out? I'm lost what B-Lady's saying. If his attorneys could do something about that. Buster and his wife just had a son? I heard they got married a year ago. They had a son? Really? Let me see that, because we just looked at his wedding like 3 weeks ago and didn't see anything that she was pregnant. Hold on. Let's see. Really? That's news to me. We saw their wedding pictures and stuff. I'm surprised he didn't name it after his brother. Wow, I am really surprised they didn't name it after Paul. That's really crazy. It says Buster Murdaugh recently had a baby boy with his wife, Brooklyn White, naming the child after his controversial father, Alex. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? Wow, why would he do that? They were married in May of 2025. And we looked at their wedding. When was this baby born? Did he name him like everything, or did he name him Alex Paul? I can't believe he wouldn't do something for his mother or his father. I mean, his mother or his brother. That's crazy. crazy. Richard. Oh, he was born when we were in South Carolina. Scooter. He was born on May 14th. We were there. We were probably in Beaufort that day. We were there, Scooter. Wow. Richard Alexander Murdaugh Jr. No. That's Buster's name. Sorry. Sorry. Hold on. Hold, please. Sorry. Bring it back a minute. Stop. That's not that. No. But I think that's when he was born anyway. Because he definitely, by May 15th, they were married May of 2025, and it looks like they had the baby in May of 2025. But hold on, let me get this baby's name, okay? Why wouldn't he have honored his mother? Or I don't understand that. I don't get that. Hold on. No, maybe he... No. Did he just have this baby? But it was reported in May. How could it be reported in May? It says May 15th, 2026. Court TV said Buster Murdaugh recently got married and had a child. Okay. Let me see. Okay, so, okay, no. Mm-mm. Listen. Buster's name is Richard Alexander Murdaugh Jr. That's Buster's name. He's named after his father. But the boy, the baby, is Richard Alexander Murdaugh III, or Trip for short. So instead of Buster, they're going to call him Trip. But she's naming that for Buster. I don't think she's naming him that for Alex. Because then Richard Alexander Jr. was called Buster after the grandfather. Now they're going to call this kid Trip. You see how Buster, the name Buster, has followed this kid his whole life. A lot of people didn't even know what his name was. They thought his name was Buster. So this kid will be known as Trip. And he's got his dad's name. He's got his grandfather's name too, but he's got his dad's name, and I'm sure they did it for his dad. Not for his dad, for the baby's dad. It's getting confusing. So let's see. Five months ago. So she had to have already been pregnant right when they got married, but they were together a long time. So let's see. Someone said, I drove through that area today and thinking, poor Buster, Maggie would have been over the moon to have her first grandchild. There will be no grandmother or grandfather except jail visits. And, well, I think the girl doesn't accept jail visits, no Uncle Paul and no cousins from his side of the family. Well, that's not true. They'll have cousins, but they'll be John Marvin and Randy's kids and their kids. And then kids from her side. Okay. I just don't understand. Buster and Brooklyn are legal scholars. They attended the entire trial, and I can only conclude from the name they chose for their son, they believe Alex to be innocent. What the ever-loving F. What a heavy burden of a name to carry. It's Buster's name, too. Maybe they want to change the meaning. Also, Buster was far from a legal scholar. He got caught cheating. Okay, the problem was having teachers that didn't correct their work and the parents... Okay, let's see here. Some people are spreading some awful things. Horrible. Okay, so they're going to call him Trip. All right, well, that was quick. Yeah, that's what I said, Billy. That was quick. Your nephew is the third. They call him Trey. Mine too. My great nephew is the third, and they call him Trey. That's what his name is. They did not name him the same name. They named him Trey. They didn't name him that name and then call him Trey. They just call him Trey. That's his name. That's his legal name. Okay. They are calling him Trip. Right. Yes. No, I thought he finished law school, but he just didn't pass the bar. I believe he finished law school, but he didn't pass the bar. Who, what? Who, what, where, why? Where did our new member go? Where's Ivy? Ivy! Where are you? We should celebrate Ivy. Hi, Ivy. Ivy. Where the heck? Hold on a minute. I gotta find my... Okay, very good. All right. What else is going on? Let me see what else is going on. I guess it's a generational name. Yes. He is going to be the third Alex and Buster, and the son or Richard Alexander. Yeah, they're all Richard Alexander and Murdaugh. Putting that on the kid, you know, who knows? I don't know. Yeah, you know, that's a lot. You lost your mother, you lost your brother, your father's in prison for killing them. That's a lot to carry. And then who knows, like, what's going on with everything else, with like all the stuff that's going on in that family. So, what else? I'm going to get some ice. I have to get some ice. Ice is nice. I'll be right there. I just have to get some ice because I have more seltzer to drink. I have no more ice. The ice melts so freaking fast. I don't get it why. Okay, enjoy yourselves for a second. Oh my gosh. I don't know what I'm just not... I'm painting bottles today, as you can hear. I'm doing a really good job, too. Wait till you see them. I'm doing something really special with one that I can't I can't show it right now until it's ready. Hold on a minute. My daughter-in-law sent me text before. Jimmy and I can't believe. Oh. Okay. All right. She came in the chat and said, "Not nice, Mom. You didn't answer my text," so I had to check. It's about some World Cup celebration on Sunday. She's really into the World Cup. And, ouch. Hold on a minute. I feel like I've got an itch. Seltzer water is good for your digestion. Well, it's really, I don't drink any soda. So, Scooter drinks it all day long. Okay. So where was I now? Carolyn, when you get there, you tell them about it, okay? When I tell them about their names? Nancy Grace is going to be there. I'm excited for that. I think Nancy Grace and I would hit it off well. I do. You've always wondered if he just cannot allow his mind to accept the reality that, well, that is really hard to accept, right, Hart? Yeah, that's something that, Manischewitz, you got to live with, because, and that's your DNA, right? If your dad's a cold-blooded killer who not only killed someone, but he killed your mother and your brother. He killed your mother and your brother. That's got to be crazy. Right? Yeah, his dad is all he has left. I think that's really why they didn't go for the death penalty. And I don't think they'll do it again. I mean, now he has a son, and he has a wife, but he has a son but still. That's hard, like with anything, because even like, it's got to be hard too for Brooklyn, because, you think, wow, does he have any of this in him? Like, I mean, you got to think it, right? That's a lot. It's not only that, and I'm not saying it's okay at all, but somebody that kills a spouse in a crime of passion, but he killed his wife and his son. I mean, you kill your child. That just, like, in that way. It's not an accident. It's not, oops, something happened, the car crash. It's like you killed your child purposely. April 5th. And they said they're not going to continue it. That it's going to be April 5th. They're just deciding on the venue. And I really hope, they said they think they'll move it to a smaller venue if they do. And I hope they do. But yeah, we're going to go. We're going. We're going. I go to South Carolina at that time. Like, it's a little earlier than I go, but I'm going to go. Might have to get like a short-term rental or something, depending on how long the trial is going to be. With awful selfish motives, no less. So, yeah. What can I tell you? What else is going on? Should we see what else is going on? Might as well, right? See what else is going on. We've been on for 2 hours. Okay. There's a stupid... Is that a fly? I think that's a moth. I wonder if that came in through the door. Is the screen not closed all the way? There's probably a light. Go to the light. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to see what else. Let's see what else is going on out here. I have to schedule my thyroid ultrasound. Oh boy. Alabama corrections officers. What did I just say there? Alabama corrections officers accused of an inmate's death. 2 people who were previously corrections officers in an Alabama jail have been indicted on murder charges involving the death of an inmate. Prosecutors say on January 25, 2026, Evans and Carbajal, it's a man and a woman, or one of the two, allegedly assaulted a 23-year-old Arthur Morse by repeatedly dry stunning him with a taser. Morse could not stand or walk because he had diabetic ketoacidosis, and he died as a result of the attack. He was being held at the Blount County Jail because he did not comply with his court referral officer regarding his May 2025 DUI charge. Because of the violation, he was sentenced to 15 days in jail. Both Evans and Carbajal are no longer employed as corrections officers in Blount County, and the 2 are scheduled for a bond hearing on July 15th. What is it with... Here's these 2. Unbelievable. That's them. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see what else is going on. Did you guys hear about this lettuce thing? This parasite in the lettuce? Let's take a look at what the heck is going on with the lettuce, okay? And this might be more than lettuce, it's raspberries too? Okay, let's see what the heck is going on. Cyclosporiasis. All right, let's see about this cyclosporiasis. All right, let's get this off. Cyclosporiasis is an intestinal illness caused by a microscopic parasite, which spreads through contaminated food or water. It triggers severe watery diarrhea, stomach cramps, and fatigue, and is treated with specific antibiotics like trimethoprimsulfamexolazole. Okay, the main sign is watery, frequent, and sometimes explosive diarrhea. Other signs: loss of appetite, bloating, gas, stomach cramps, nausea, and a low-grade fever. It's diagnosed via a laboratory stool test that specifically looks for the parasite, and it's not part of routine stool tests. It's spread from ingesting food or water contaminated with feces. It does not spread directly from person to person. Okay, so it said now that this was coming in the lettuce, so that our lettuce has feces on it. Is that what's happening? Let's see what's happening. A large number of cases of intestinal illnesses that cause diarrhea, nausea, and fatigue have been detected in 34 states. But the source is still under investigation. As of Tuesday, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said it had received reports of 1,645 confirmed cases of cyclosporiasis, the gastrointestinal affliction caused by the parasite Cyclospora. But the true number of infections is likely much higher because that figure only represents the cases that are reported by states directly to the CDC. All right, keep going on this. According to the CDC, as of Thursday, I guess it's last week, there have been 141 hospitalizations nationwide and no deaths. Health officials are also investigating several clusters of cases. What's today's date? It's the 15th. I thought this was Mark the 14th. This is July 14th. So I guess they're talking about last Thursday. Okay. People can contract the illness by eating food or drinking water. Previous outbreaks have been linked to fresh produce. In 2018, McDonald's removed salads from restaurants in 14 states after federal health officials linked them to dozens of cases of cyclosporiasis and tainted lettuce imported from Mexico, suspected to have sickened 4,400 people in the United States in 2013. The illness does not spread from person to person. The source of the outbreak is what we eat or drink. But how come there's so much about fresh produce? Why do they say this with the fresh produce? Where was this coming from? Some of the hardest hit areas appear to be in the Midwest and the Northeast, including Michigan and New York. The Ohio Department of Health reported 177 cyclosporiasis cases as of July 2nd, most of which occurred in June. Okay. People that have ranged in age from 5 to 88 years old. What's causing the outbreak? They said that's still unclear. CDC says it's trying to identify the source or the sources of the recent surge of cyclosporiasis infections. Investigators do that in part by interviewing those who become sick to find out what they've eaten. But since symptoms can appear anywhere between 2 days and 2 weeks or more after a person was infected, they may not remember everything they ate in that period. You can't even remember what you had yesterday, right? Previous outbreaks have been associated with raspberries, basil. Well, I know my basil is fresh here, so cilantro, snow peas, lettuce. I've got a pet that eats snow peas. That's not good. Got to take care of that. Public health officials advise thoroughly rinsing all fresh produce under running water, even items that say they're pre-washed. Do this before eating, if you're eating raw or cooking. It's also important for home cooks to observe food safety rules, and that includes washing your hands with soap and water before and after handling fresh produce. All right. One more thing to get worried about, right? One more thing. Just like, what did they say on The Simpsons? Chocolate cake doesn't kill you. When they remember the salad stuff, they're like, you can't win friends with salad. You can't win friends. And then there was something else in it. Or did I make? Chocolate cake doesn't kill you. Don't trust the salad. It kills you. Trust the chocolate cake. It's not killing you. Or something like that. I remember when that happened at one time. That's what I was telling Jimmy. When I was pregnant with Ethan, there was something with the salads. It was E. coli, I think. I remember that because we went out to this fancy restaurant when I was pregnant. And then I remember writing on my Facebook that, and I guess it probably was 2013 when the salads were killing us again, probably. I don't know. Like manure. I don't know. Where are the feces coming from? I don't know, heart. She was washing all of her produce with soap when she got home from shopping. You had a ton of salads. Well, what can I tell you? All right, so I don't know what to, Scooter's gonna, tomorrow's Wednesday, right? Now I'm losing it. Now I'm thinking tomorrow's Thursday. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Tomorrow's Wednesday. I've got to, okay, so where's Scooter? Where's Scooter? Scooter left. Not nice, Scooter. We could have done a member movie night or something, but Scooter left. I know she wanted to watch that Andrea Yates thing. I don't know where she went. She wants to do it Friday, but I think Friday. I might not. I don't know. And I'm getting tired. Yeah, are you? Look up some of this stuff that we discussed, Carolyn, like the religion were those nuts. Like what religion were those nuts? Oh, yeah. Do you think that's really religion that tells them to do that? Or do they use their religion as an excuse to do that? I can't imagine Jesus endorsing that. Can you? Can you? You think Jesus be like, yeah, that's what I had in mind? No, I don't think so. Okay. I don't think so. But that's me. I don't think so. So let me play the word game. Let's get the word game up. Let's get the word game going. Please keep praying for Amy, Justice League, and Bucky, and everybody in our community, because everybody needs prayers. Always good. Lewis, I hope you're doing okay. Prayers for you, Lewis. And little lady, and everybody. Where's Anne? Where is Anne? What happened to Anne? I hope Anne's friend is okay. Anne, Jet Set. I hope you're okay, Anne. I have to go on a comment and ask Anne if she's okay. I'm so worried about her. Zigzag. And look, Jigsaw. I said zigzag, and then there's Jigsaw. Jigsaws. Jigsaw Puzzler. She used to be a nice lady. I hope she's okay. Haven't seen her in a long, long time. Anywhere. Shoot. I think it's... No. Really? Huh, that's funny. I think... Hi, Planet. How are you? I was thinking of you today, too. How are you? I think you and Nancy... What happened, Planet? I think you and Nancy are going to end up besties. What? Nancy? Oh, you scared me, Planet. Oh my gosh, Planet, I thought you were a troll. I'm like, that can't be Planet. You know what I thought? Oh my gosh, Planet, you scared the crap out of me. Do you guys know what I just thought? I thought, that can't be Planet Damnation. I'm like, that's not Planet Damnation, because I thought he was talking about Nancy Guthrie. And I'm like, what? And I'm thinking like where we think Nancy Guthrie is. And now they're saying, I think you and Nancy are going to be besties. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? Oh my gosh, Planet. Oh my gosh. And I was going to say, check that. That can't be the real Planet Damnation. Oh my gosh, you scared me. Then I realized you mean Nancy Grace. Oh my gosh, Planet. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. Oh wow. And you guys are still going on there. I tried the donkey. It didn't work. I tried, didn't I try swag? Thought I did. Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Hold on, I'm going to see because I don't think anybody's listening to me. Swag? Yeah, they are. Okay. Planet Dam... Oh my gosh, Planet, I was so scared. I'm so glad that I realized what that was. Did you guys see that? Murder? Somebody? Anybody? Well, murder. Doesn't anybody see what I thought was happening? Did you guys see what I thought that planet wrote? It was scary. I didn't know what that was. Come on, guys. Okay, gas. I guess it's gas. Hold on. Oh my gosh, my cursor will not work. You fell asleep high speed? I was freaking. I did not think that was the real planet. I was like, no, planet would never say that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Planet must have left and didn't even hear what I thought was said. Planet, are you there? Oh, you knew right away it was about Nancy Grace? I didn't, Heart. I was like, what the heck? Sorry, Planet. Thank you. What do we have to do here, guys? Oh, Jag. It's got to be Jag, which reminds me of the movie Jagged Edge. That always makes me so nervous. You guys watch Jagged Edge? I think we watched it once in a movie night. I don't know. Maybe we didn't. Maybe I watched it. Man, I don't know. Okay. Why am I doing this? I don't want to do this. What am I doing this about? I remember that last time I went up here and there was something, it was really neat. I had all these awards and stuff. Yeah, I had this thing. Oh, finally. Look at this. Because I was waiting for the last time that I could get this. I remember I had all of those things. There was like, I had never done it in the whole history of playing the game. And then I was looking for it again and I couldn't find it. Oh no, I can't claim it now. Why is it telling me that? I'm almost ready to claim it. Okay. I know what this is and I just can't, my cursor will not cooperate. Filing. Okay, I got all those. Let's see. Oh no. Okay, hold on a minute. Still I have real. Okay. Alright. Ding. Ding. Extra word. Drilling I've got. Idling. Murder says idling. Idling. Very good, Murder. And then ring. Ring thing. Put your ring thing back here. Alright. And riding. Little Red Riding. Little Red Riding Hood. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, lid. Rigid. Got it. Good for me. I got it. Okay. Good for us all. Good for us all. Very, very, very good for us all. Heart, I got it. I never get the credit. I can't even get it one time. I thought you guys would be proud of me. One time? One time? Can I just get one time that you're proud of me? We are. Are you really, Heart? Or are you just saying that to make me feel better? Just say you're proud of her. Oh, Carolyn. Murder, you get everything. Can I just have one thing? Just one? Just one time, Murder. Just once. Oh my goodness. You know what? I passed my neighbors today, right? Do you ever say something? I just have to say something. Did you ever say something like I think we all wonder like, and I know because other people tell me they're like, oh my gosh, I talk too much? Did I do this? Did I do that? Like when you go to see somebody. But have you ever said hello to somebody and then you say something and maybe you laugh or something and then your laugh is like echoing in your head and you're like, what the heck was that? Like that sounds bizarre. Like what is that? I literally said to my neighbors, okay, and I've already seen the same neighbors, okay, listen. Jimmy and I took a walk today. We saw the husband. Hi, how you doing? Good. Then I was walking and I saw her on a bike and she stopped. She's got like one of those, like the little, like the island bikes, no speeds on it, a cruising bike or whatever. So she stops and she's like, oh, your dogs are so cute. She was asking me stuff about them. I've known her a long time. Then I went for a walk and I saw them again. And they were walking this way. I was walking that way. Hi, how you doing? Hi, Carolyn. Hi, how are you guys doing? And then you're always looking for something to say. So I go like this. It's humid. And they go, oh boy, is it ever. And then I said something like, I'm trying to think of how I said it. I said, yeah, it sure is. And I said, what the heck was that? What? And all I could think was, oh my gosh, why would I laugh like that? Why is that humid, like such a joke? That sounded so crazy. And I just kept thinking, and then I turned around and like, I'm seeing them still walking, but I'm really thinking like in my head that they were like, did you hear what she said? She laughed like that. I don't know what that was about. They probably didn't give it a second thought, but I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's like it does not sound like yourself. Right. And then you're just thinking like, what the freak did I do that for? Like, why did I, like, you didn't even intentionally go to laugh. Like, what the heck is, that sounds bizarre. And it went to the point that I almost wanted to go back and say, hey, I'm sorry, I don't know what the heck that was. Right? That's crazy. You guys, and then it's going to make it all that much worse. And I'll be like, oh, I didn't notice anything. What did you say? Right? I don't know what that was. And I'm like, okay, just drop it. Because they probably didn't even, they're not even thinking about it, But there are times like that, or you don't know why you say stuff. I bet they walked away thinking you're crazy. No, but sometimes like you say something and you're just like, why did I say that? Like you went to make conversation with somebody and then you feel like you said something really stupid, right? Like, is it going to rain tomorrow? I don't know. But I didn't say anything like that. You didn't hope I didn't freak you out. Yeah. You do it a lot. I know. I don't know why. And then I'm just thinking like, what the hell? What's with Carolyn? I don't know. She said humid and then she's laughed. This weird laugh. Like she's controlling the weather. I don't know. It's so crazy. Just nuts. Okay. And then, murder. Could I just get that one word that I got? Rigid? Please. After all I've been through tonight with this humid comment I made, come on. It's not nice. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the heck I was thinking. All I wanted was rigid. I just wanted it rigid. It would have made my whole night. It would have made my week. Elk. Oh, eel. Very good. We did it. We completed our quest. Okay, guys. I'm going to say goodnight because I'm tired. I've got an important call in the morning. So, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Prayers for everyone. It sounded normal to me. Oh, thanks, Ivy. There you are. Really? It didn't sound... to me, it sounded so weird, Ivy. I was like, what they must think, like, what? It just sounded, you know what? It just, like, reverberated that, and we're on a lake, so it could have been like this, but it just sounded, all I could just hear was just kept hearing it back, and it sounded crazy. You're glad I didn't go back? It sounded, I don't know, it just, it sounded so nuts. But I get, yeah, maybe it was just because the last thing I said, and then like I said it, and then I was walking away. I'm overthinking it. I'm overthinking it now here, and they're probably not thinking about it at all. Or maybe they're like this at night. Hey, did you think anything weird with Carolyn? Yeah, what was that laugh after she said humid? Maybe we should check in on her tomorrow. Let's go see. Let's ask her how the weather is again and see if she says it and laughs. Yeah, it's just so dumb. Sometimes you just say such dumb things, like, and it's just like this. So, did it sound as dumb to me, to them, as it did to me? But then I'm trying to think, like, did anybody ever do that to me? Did anybody ever say humid and laugh or something and laugh, and I'd go like, wow, that was a weird response. And, like, I can't think of it, but I don't know. I'll think of that when I'm going to sleep tonight. But I could have said something. I'm sure they're not even thinking about it. Who knows? Maybe they even had a couple of drinks and they weren't even paying attention to me. You know what I mean? Hopefully, maybe. I don't know. I don't mean hopefully. I mean, I just hope that they didn't think it was weird. All right. I appreciate you guys coming in. Ivy, it's very great to have you on board as a member. I appreciate that very much. And tomorrow, oh yeah, the Clancy trial starting Monday, right? And I don't know what's up for tomorrow. You're sure they, I'm sure they have. But we'll see. We never know what one day brings to the next. Maybe they'll find Nancy Guthrie tomorrow. I don't know. You never know, right? But I'll check in with you guys. I bet they were up all night, right, Murdaugh? Yeah, they're probably watching right now. Like, Carolyn, good. I'm glad you addressed this in your live because, listen, we were really wondering what that freaking laugh was. And you think it's weird now, too, so we feel better. We can go to bed. I know, right? They're talking about it all night. They're up all night. They're going to tell me tomorrow, well, we didn't get much sleep because, well, we were up all night discussing you. Come on. All right. Anyway, I'm going to go. Don't be too humid, guys. But no. Love you guys. God bless. Prayers for everyone, especially Amy and Bucky. And really keep them in your prayers. And thank you again for Ivy for joining our membership. We appreciate it. And thank you all for watching. Thank you to the moderators for keeping things good. And girl, that sounded like normal chit-chat. You should hear the crazy things I say to people. Really? You'll have to come up on panel and tell me. You'll make me feel better then sometime, okay? I don't know. Sometimes I think that just goes back to my shyness. I used to be very shy, and it's probably just, like you always second guess something you said. You're like, oh my gosh, should I have said that? Or did I speak too much? It sounds crazy. But I'll go to bed. I'll forget about it, right? Murder will run me again tomorrow. Okay. Anyway, love you all. God bless. Prayers. And we'll see you tomorrow. Everybody be well. Stay kind and stay safe. Talk to you tomorrow.